You work hard, you make decent money, but deep down you feel like you should be further ahead. The truth is most people do not get ahead financially because they follow the wrong rules, the wrong playbook, or they don't have any. When I was a few years into my own wealth building journey, I came across a statistic. It was a statistic about the different net worths per age. And it was displayed as percentiles. So there was not just the median or the average, but also the 30th and 70th and 90th percentile. And I found out that I had made it into the 90th percentile of my age group, which means I was in the top 10%. If you want to get ahead of 90% of people, then here's what you need to do. And it's not about building a business. If we haven't met, I'm Sophia, and on this channel we explore the strategies on how to build wealth without living frugal. And let's start with your benchmark. So the very first thing we need in order for you to get ahead is a target, right? Here in the finance space, it's actually pretty easy because it's about numbers. So we look for numbers. And the numbers will depend on the country you live in. So what I suggest, you can either go to Google or also to statistic websites like statista.com. And then you start researching net worth per age and then insert your country. And in this case, what we ideally want to know is the percentiles. Because oftentimes you will find the median and you will find the average. Both are not our benchmark in this video because the median is exactly the middle of society of your age group. So when you look at that, then you are in the top 50% of your age group, which is not bad, but we do want to get ahead, right? And the average might be a bit misleading because the top 1% can drag it up. By the way, the reason why I did not pick the top 1% is because we need to get to the top 10% first before we can strive for the 1%. So you look up the percentiles of your age group in your country, and then ideally it gives you a range of net worths for the 90th percentile, because the 90th percentile is the top 10. Now let's look at an example. Let's go into Google and let's pick that one site up here. And when we scroll down, there's a table where you can see all the data. Different age groups on the left, and then percentiles are up here. And let's say you are 27. So at the age of 27, your benchmark for the top percent would be $296,000. Now here you will also immediately see why I did not pick the 1%, because that's almost 10x more in net worth than the top 10%. Crazy, isn't it? And this one is just, it's much harder to reach when you're employed. And you also see why I do not want you to pick the median, because even though this, of course, is a nice net worth to have, this will not make you stretch yourself to really get ahead. Do you know what I mean? This is more inviting to stay within your comfort zone. And also, what I told you before, I have to say I would have expected the average to be higher, because here in this age group, it seems like the 1% is not, pulling very hard. So it's not pulling up the average up. It's rather the lower percentiles dragging it down. All right, and so now you have your target. And now let me tell you a bit about the lies that we have been told. And one of them is, and this might be controversial, is save 10% of your income. Now, even though saving 10% of your income and investing it is a very good start, let's be real here for a second, it will not be enough to get you into the top 10%. In fact, you can check the facts right now. You can take a calculator. You can also use the one on your phone. And you type in your salary. Let's say your salary is $3,500 per month. And then you take that times 0.1, which is the equivalent to 10%. So a 10% savings rate. And that gives you, okay, we wouldn't have needed a calculator for that, $350. Now this taken times 12, $4,200. And what you then can do is you take the target that you found for your age group and your country, and then you divide that by the number, by the amount of money that you save every year. And this roughly gives you the number of years that it would take to get you there. Now, I know this will not be accurate because we're not calculating in that you invest that money and that the investments grow in value. But I think it's still a helpful practice to put this into perspective. Do you know what I mean? All right. And the other one I would like to talk about is stay below your means and you will be fine. Now, if you live frugal and never splurge on anything, you will save enough to retire comfortably. Was it ever true? I don't know. But I would say that living frugally alone today doesn't get you anywhere if you are not at the same time very strategic with your money. Now, don't get me wrong. Living below your means is always a requirement for building wealth. Actually, no matter how much money you make, if you want to grow your wealth or maintain your wealth, there's no way around living below the means. It's just that the means change with growing wealth, if that makes any sense. And what I meant by being strategic with your money is that you need to be strategic about your process and you need to be strategic about your investments. And when you do this, you can basically reverse engineer the life that you would like to live at some point in the future. By the way, I talk about the strategies that I used in my own financial journey in a free live web class. If you want to grab your spot, there's a link down below. And another, let me call it misconception, is you get a degree or you land a stable job and then you work hard and then you'll be set financially. Now, first of all, one income source alone will not make you financially secure. If you have no other income streams, like for example from your investments, then you are too dependent even when the job seems stable. I think this is a trap many people get into, especially well-trained people. And I remember a paragraph in the book, The Millionaire Next Door. And the author was comparing an entrepreneur with a doctor. And they both had about the same amount of income, but the doctor had way less wealth than the entrepreneur. And in the book, at least how I remember it, they argued that one big part of that was the high expected lifestyle from the doctor. Now, I don't think it's just that. I'm a doctor. I never really felt the pressure of a certain lifestyle, to be honest. But that may be different in different countries. But thinking about this, I think what also might play a role is that as a doctor, there's always this undertone of the world will always need doctors, you know? And I think this gives a wrong sense of security, financial security, even though, many people living like this at the end of the day or at the end of the life are still doing fine. But our goal here is to get financially ahead. And I think the difference to the entrepreneur is that it kind of comes with the job, especially in the beginning, that you never really know how much is gonna come in next. Are you guys getting this? So you're forced of managing your money well. And you always have in the back of your mind, okay, the next month could be not as good as this one. Or, next season, something could happen that just throws us off this plan. And this could be just another dynamic that's at play. You know what I mean? All right, so besides learning about money management and being strategic with what you do with your money, I think it's important to learn high value skills. Because what this does, it increases your earning capacity and at the same time makes you less replaceable, even within your job. So when you look at this from the perspective of, okay, what can I do to learn something new that would benefit me and also would benefit, the place that I'm at and working there right now? And even if it doesn't in this particular moment, once you learn a skill, this is something that stays with you. And it might even create new opportunities along the way. And generally speaking, no matter if you're employed or if you're an entrepreneur, your income grows with your skill set. And now the next step for you will be to calculate your own net worth so that you can find out how far you're actually away from your target. And for that, you can watch this video next. Let me know how it goes because I do want to see you succeed. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.